Good morning and welcome to Norcal APEX Accelerator's webinar. Presented in partnership with California DGS, Office of Small Business and Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise Services. Today's presentation is called How to Do Business with the State of California. My name is Amanda Anderson. I'm the program coordinator for Norcal APEX Accelerator, and today I'm joined by the amazing Elisa Carr, the business outreach liaison with California DGS OSDS. But before I pass it off to her for the main content of today's presentation, I do want to let you know a little bit about the Norcal APEX Accelerator program and how the nationwide APEX Accelerator program can help you with government contracting. So as I just mentioned, the APEX Accelerator program is a nationwide network of over 96 centers across the US that provides education and training to businesses just like yours so that you're able to compete and succeed in any level of government contracting. Whether you're looking for federal contracts, state contracts, or even local government contracts and school district contracts, we can assist with everything and anything related to government contracting. And the best part, no matter which of the 96 APEX Accelerator centers you are connected with, all of our resources are available to you at absolutely no cost. But what exactly are those resources that I'm talking about? What kind of assistance can these centers really provide you? Well, at Norcal APEX Accelerator, we're able to offer our no-cost government contracting assistance to the 15 Northern California counties that you see on your screen. And we offer our assistance through three main pillars of services. First, our one-on-one counseling, where once you are signed up with us as a client, we're able to pair you with one of our procurement specialists who can sit down with you one-on-one to help you with anything related to government contracting. Whether you're doing that initial market research to find and figure out what opportunities are out there for you and your business, to helping you get certified with the state or certified with the federal government and get all of those registrations you need in order and in place. The best part is our counselors can even help you review your bid on an open solicitation to make sure you really are putting your best foot forward. And they can even help you with contract compliance and making sure all your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted when you're submitting that paperwork after you win your first bid. Another great service that we're able to offer to our clients once you're signed up with us is our custom bid matching program. Now, this allows you to sit down with your counselor and really define what a good solicitation for your business would look like. So maybe you can only perform your services or provide your products in a certain geographic location. You would probably want the solicitations you're looking at to be relevant to that location. Or maybe you have a very niche product, something new to the market that you're really trying to find a foothold in it. Having that product name in the solicitation could make it a really good one for you to review. Your counselor, once you sit down with them, can help you really fine tune and define this criteria of what makes a good solicitation for your business. And then they input that criteria into our software, which scrapes federal, state, and local procurement sites for solicitations that are relevant to you. And it emails those solicitations directly to you. A lot of time can be spent trying to find these opportunities, and this service gets those opportunities that are relevant directly into your inbox. And our third pillar of assistance is one you're actually taking advantage of right now. We put on a number of webinars and in-person events throughout the year covering introductory topics like today's, and even covering more complex topics like federal mentor-protege programs or subcontracting 101. We cover a number of different procurement-related topics throughout the year, and they're all offered to you at absolutely no cost. On top of our webinars and trainings, we maintain a robust website of resources and links for every level of contracting, whether you're looking at federal, state, or local. And you are absolutely welcome to browse our website, utilize those links and resources on your own time and to really benefit you. And the best part, both our webinars, our in-person events, and our website resources are available whether or not you are within our service area. So if you're coming to us from Southern California, all the way from the East Coast, no matter what, you are always welcome to join our webinars, and you are always welcome to join our events and check out our website. Those are truly built out and dedicated to help you succeed. So please do check out these resources. They are absolutely free and can only serve to help you. But if you are looking for more of a personalized hands-on touch that you would get with our counseling, please do feel free to sign up at apexnorcal.org/join. And remember, even if you're not within our 15 county service area, our program is 96 centers strong nationwide. So there is absolutely an Apex Accelerator near you who can help you find your success in government contracting. And with that, I'm delighted to pass it off to Elisa Carr for the main presentation.
Yes, good morning. Thank you so much for having me this morning. My name's Elisa Carr, and we are going to go over my presentation, or DGS's presentation, on how to do business with the state of California. Just give me 1 second. Joanne is asking me, am I on the presentation? I'm like, yes, I am. So sorry, Amanda. Okay, so we can go to the next screen. So it's going to give my information. Again, my name is Elisa Carr. I'm the Business Outreach Liaison, and that is my information on screen. If you are going to need to reach me, it would be best to reach me by email, because we do a lot of webinars and we are doing a lot of one-on-ones as well. So we'll talk about that as we get going, also how you can set up with a one-on-one with me. But Amanda, Apex does have that service available as well. So your tax dollars are very much being used, and you have lots of resources. So you should never pay anyone to set up your profile, because you do have resources and access available to assist you with that. Okay. So what we're going to go over today is Cal e-Procure profiles. We're going to talk about keywords and UNSPSCs, which, excuse me, a little bit like what happens with NAICS codes with the federal government. The state uses UNSPSCs, United Nations Standard Product Services, and codes that we use as well. We'll talk about contract opportunities. We'll talk about past researches. We'll talk about SB and DVBE advocates that will help market your business, reciprocity partners, emergency contracting, and commercially useful function, which we abbreviate everything at the state. We'll call that CUF. Okay. So when we talk about Cal e-Procure profiles, we're going to talk about the fact that your profile, we're going to start with your business name, your email, addresses, keywords, UNSPSCs as well. And we'll go into a little bit of detail about that. When you are using keywords and UNSPSCs, we want you to remember that we are trying to describe, or have you describe to us, the state, what your goods and services are, not the industry that you work in. So this is going to allow buyers to find businesses. You're going to use the Cal e-Procure notification system. And remember, you can edit this at any time. When we are talking about keywords, we are going to be using synonyms. We're going to have you pick the keywords of your business because you would know about your business. So, such as concrete, environmental, or legal. So, you get to pick and edit your keywords to describe your business, and you can find that through how you're going to set up your keywords for your business. Some tips of using your keywords when you're setting up your Cali Procure profile are going to be they're going to be individual words, not sentences, going to be singular and plural, common words and technical jargon, broad words and specific words. You're going to use synonyms. So if it's a trash company, someone might search by waste or garbage, etc. You're going to be able to use multi words when it's appropriate, such as information technology. And you can also copy keywords from competitors. When we're talking about the UNSPSCs, again, that stands for the United Nations Standard Products and Services Code. It is an 8-digit number with a written description associated with it. And it's going to identify the goods and services, not an industry that you are in. So the goods and services that your company will be able to provide. This is going to be an example of how you're going to decide on which UNSPSCs that you're going to use. We want to say that it's a hierarchy like a diamond shape. So the top level would be a level 1. You'll see it has a code of 1400000. That would describe paper products or paper materials and products. If you went down to level 2, you'll see that the 11 is in there as well. So that would be paper materials, products, and paper products. And if you go down to level 3 and level 4, it's going to encompass everything from level 1 and 2. So we would suggest that you always look for a level 3 or level 4 UNSPSC. That's going to be what you would use on your workstation or your work center from Cali Procure. When we are talking about your UNSPSCs, we want you to remember that there's 2 profiles that will be available. There's going to be the bidder profile, which is not publicly displayed. This could be used for if you're looking to create a business and this is something that's kind of advantageous that you might want to use and say it's a product that you're going to roll out later. That could stay on your bidder profile because it's not publicly displayed. You can also have system notifications, and it can be something that's aspirational that you're looking to do later. On the certification profile that is publicly displayed, it's going to be used by buyers to find businesses, and it must be accurate and current as to what you currently can do and what you have to offer as your goods and services. When you are selecting your UNSPSCs, you can do a search through Cali Procure registration and certification. You can also search on the DGS website, and we would generally say not to use the UNSPSC website because sometimes those don't correlate with the DGS UNSPSCs that are in there as well. So you might find a little bit of a conflict. Finding codes through the hierarchy system that we just talked about, using level 3 and level 4. Use relevant codes from any level is fine, but we do suggest level 3 and level 4 because level 3 and 4 will take care of level 1 and level 2. And again, you can also use codes from competitors as well. So there's a breakout session every 5 or 6 slides. So if you had any questions that you wanted to post, Amanda will check it out and we can tag team and see if we can get those answered if there's some questions in there.
Absolutely. And as of right now, we do not have any questions, but I actually wanted to clarify as this is a very common question we get on these events. through your one-on-one consultations, are you able to help folks define and really fine-tune those UNSPSC codes?
Absolutely. When you select or you want to do a no cost 30-minute consultation with myself or anyone on my team, it's 8 of us that are 7 right now, will be 8 available to take one-on-ones. You would select the time that you wanted to have a consultation, and then you would see which one of the partners which one of my coworkers would be available to assist with that. And yes, we can go over your keywords. We can look at your UNSPSCs. We can also go in and take a look at past purchases to see what purchases were available using the UNSPSC from 3 years ago or 5 years ago, because the system goes back to 2015. We can also take a look at finding the advocate for the departments that you would want to do business with, that you would send your capability statement to, and they can help promote your business as well. So yes, we would be able to accomplish those things. And if we can't do it in one session, you can set up a series of sessions. I have some customers that set up a session and all we talk about is UNSPSCs. Then they say, okay, Elisa, we're going to book with you next week and we want to talk about keywords. And then I want to book with you and we want to only talk about searching for current solicitations or past solicitations. So the answer to the question is a resounding yes. That is something that we can help do.
Absolutely. And I will also note that is something that Apex Accelerator services can help with as well, because I do know you guys are a smaller team. So if you are having any issues connecting or maybe their schedule's packed, because I know they're doing webinars like this all the time, the Apex Accelerator program can also assist with all of this and more. So these are some great resources for you to connect with. I would recommend connecting with both a DGS liaison to really get that initial and fine-tuned information. And then for long-term contracting consulting, I think that the Apex Accelerator program is a fantastic service that can really be on your time. So if you want to schedule an appointment every week, once a month, once every quarter, that is up to you, and it is absolutely no obligation.
Exactly. Yes.
Perfect. And with that, I think we can move forward. Please do remember, if you have questions for today's presentation or about our services, please enter your questions into the Q&A section of Zoom.
So when you are starting off to get your profile set up, you will go to www.caleprocure.ca.gov. And it's going to take you to this screen, which we are going to talk about. This is the home screen, if you will. This is your work center station, and this is what that's going to look like. So there's going to be lots of slides in here that will just show you some place markers so that you are not going to be looking around and feeling like you're lost. So we can go ahead and go to the next screen for this, and it's going to show you again like you don't know, right? This is where you're going to log in so you don't get lost. Okay. And then once you get logged in and you're going to type in your username and your password, this is what your work center is going to look like. Of course, it's going to have your name in the middle. It's going to have your approved certifications, small business for public works, small business, DVBE. And it's going to tell you that it's approved, and it's also going to tell you the 2 years in which the certification will expire. And if you see right next to certifications, it's going to give you your certification ID number, which is going to be most important for state contracting whenever you are doing research, or if you're sending emails, the first thing that you'll want to make sure that you present is your certification ID number, because an advocate will want to go and look at your certification profile just to see what you are certified in and what your keywords are going to be as well. So this is just an example of what that will look like. You are going to manage your profile here if you want to make any changes. Okay, we can go to the next screen again. It's a big profile. It's a big packet because there's just a lot of screenshots that we put in here. And this is where you're going to say yes because you want to get the listing of notifications emailed to you so that you will know what contracts that you can really look over to decide if this is something that you want to bid on. Okay. And again, it's just giving you some confirmation that this is the box that you would need to check yes because you want that listing of notifications. Okay. And then it's going to show that it is active. So you want your notifications to show active. Sometimes you have different email addresses that you can put in. You want to make sure everything is active. And then you're going to be able to put in the service areas that you want to be able to get solicitations from. I would caution you from having the entire state selected unless it's something that you feel like you can do. If you lived in Los Angeles, do you really want to get solicitations in Sacramento, right? But if you do, you want to make sure that you are adding in the correct information, hotel stays, gas, food, if you're going to be away from your shop, how are you going to still manage what's going on at your home shop and then be in Sacramento if you lived in San Diego. So you'll be able to select the service areas that you want to get the solicitations that you can peruse and take a look at. Okay. And we're saying again, yes, you want to notify that you want to get the certifications to get the bids. You want those event notifications. You want to make sure that you have your notification contact set up and the account is active. Okay. And then you want to select the service areas as well. This is very important. Okay. And this is another, once you get to this area, this is where you will start to select your UNSPSCs. Again, that's going to be the description of the services, of the goods and services that you will be able to provide if someone is looking for that. Okay. And once you search for your UNSPSCs, you will go up here and you will type in the description of the UNSPSC, and that's where you will log that. Okay. And once you log in the UNSPSC, you will put a check mark next to it. Okay, we can go to the next screen. And then once you put the check mark to it, it will flow to the other side. Okay, and then that's going to be the UNSPSC that you have selected, and you will just save that. So, okay. So we'll pause again. It happens really fast sometimes, or sometimes it doesn't, to ask some questions. Do we have any questions, Amanda?
We do. Someone was wondering how many USPCs can they list? Is there a max limit?
No, there's not a limit to the UNSPSCs that you can list. There's not a limit to the keywords that you can list. Once you sign up with a one-on-one with myself or one of my counterparts, we'll tell you how you can use that space really, really appropriately. So in one of the spaces, you could put something in there that says operational. And then the next box underneath, you can type in, you'll have 200 and I think it's 55 characters to put office supplies or exactly what it is that your company will do. So we can talk about that, yes, but you have the option of choosing those and there's not a limit for those.
And I think a big definition too is more isn't always better. And that's
Yes,
something that you
right.
can really define with a business outreach liaison or an Apex Accelerator counselor.
Yes, we can talk about that more. Absolutely.
And I will note that is the last question for this section, but I do see a couple of questions about certifications. I want to acknowledge that and let you know we will be getting to that later on in this presentation. So I will circle back and please do enter those questions into the Q&A, but I am saving those for once we cover that.
Okay, good.
And with that, let's go ahead and move forward.
Once you are back in here, again, this is your work center. We call it, it's my work center, which you'll have on here. So we can go ahead to the next screen or click. If you want to make any changes to your profile, there's not any way to just go in and make the change. So this is just the system functionality. You can click on Manage Certification, okay? And once you hit manage certification, you are then going to hit amend application. You are not reapplying, you're just making changes to, that's fine, Amanda, you can go ahead. You're just making changes to your application. I know, I'm going to cut this down a little bit. It's too much. So we can go ahead and in order to make changes, you'll hit amend application. Okay, you can go ahead again. And you'll have to do this 5 times. So then you would scroll down to the end of your screen and you're going to hit save and continue, save and continue. If you peruse this over and you want to make a change to your phone number, this is where you're going to make those changes. You're going to hit amend application as you just saw, and then you'll work through each one of the screens. And if you want to change your office phone number, this is where you would do it. Then you would scroll down and hit save and continue. The next screen is going to give you some additional information about your address. You would save and continue. So we can go ahead. And again, you would do this 5 times. You're not going to be able to. So again, it's going to show you, you're going to hit save and continue if you wanted to make a change to your address. And again, this is just the way that the system is set up. Once you do that 5 times, then you're going to get to your profile of where you're going to change and enter in your UNSPSCs, your keywords, and also your service area of where you would like to get solicitation so that you can read those over to determine if that's one that you would like to bid on. Okay, so we can go ahead. And this again, once you do the search, this is how your UNSPSCs are going to come into play. And you'll see the one that's on the screen is for light bulbs and light components, light lamps and light bulbs. So that one ends in 600. There possibly is going to be one that ends in 601, 602, 603. So you'll have to determine which one of the UNSPSCs is going to describe what your business is able to provide. Okay. And there's a lookup feature where you can look that up. You can do that by category or by description. And so if you see on here, this description on here, they did a description for paper. And at the bottom, it shows those are the paper products and the business use printing and writing paper. If those are the UNSPSCs that you would like to choose, then you would just check those and those fall into your UNSPSC list, and then you would save and continue. And then showing you again, this was the search for paper. Okay, we can go ahead and then you're going to hit the lookup button and then that's going to come into play. Yes, okay. And then it's going to show you, you're going to click the save. It's very, very detailed. And see the paper products, business use, printing and writing paper is now part of your UNSPSC list. Okay. We are going to move over to supplier diversity information. This is voluntary information. This does not help support any efforts of you securing a contract. What this is going to do is give us the ethnic, race, gender, sexual orientation of your business. We want to make sure that we are still adhering to the diversity, inclusion, the diversity, equity, and inclusion of the state of California because it is a very diverse state. We want to find out where we can do better outreach for different departments or different areas of California. And this is one of the ways that we do that. Again, this is completely voluntary. It has nothing to do with you securing a contract. This is good information for us because Now we're up in Reading because we know there's a need to be in Reading. We've been to Tuolumne because there's a need to be in areas that are underserved. And this is what the supplier diversity information will help us continue to do for the equity, inclusion, and the diversity of the state of California. Again, you can change it at any time. You could skip over and say you don't want to do it. It's completely voluntary. Once we get back over here to the work center, we're going to show you how you can go in and make the changes to the supplier diversity information. So we'll go ahead to the next screen. You'll click on Manage Diversity Information. Okay. And then this is what that's going to look like. It's going to ask you ethnicity questions, race, gender, and then you would save that. Again, completely voluntary. Okay. We're going to talk about finding contract opportunities. So that is a system that we call the CS or the CSCR, which is the California State Contracts Registry System. It's public competitive bidding, and this is where you can post advertisements as well. So we're going to show you how to get there, of course. Okay. So you are going to click on, you're going to log in again. And okay, you are going to select the Start Search. And we always want you to use advanced search criteria, which you can go ahead. It's going to show you that highlighted. And then once you get there, this is where you're going to be. So this is going to show you that there are several places that you can search for contract opportunities. You can search by using UNSPSCs. Okay, if you want to go ahead. You can search by service areas, or you can also search by contractor license type as well. Okay. And once you do that, this is what the solicitation will bring back to you that you will see. So this is searching for current solicitations. If you're using a UNSPSC, a contractor's license, or if you're using a service area, this is what one of the solicitations will look like. So if you run through this and you say, oh, I want to bid on, or I want to take a look at the additional information so I know how to bid and what is required, you're going to click on one of these events, okay? And once you click on the event, and I'm really sorry about how small this is, it's extremely small, but this is going to be the event details page. This is going to show you when the event posted. It's going to show you when the event ends, and you pay very particular close attention to the end date and time. Because if you have not looked through everything and posted by the end date and time, you are not going to be eligible. Okay, if you want to click next, I want to see what's going to be highlighted. Okay, we can go back then. Please. Okay, so on the event details, what you would do is at the top of the screen, you would click on event package. When you click on the event package, it's going to open up and it's going to give you several links. You must click on each one of the links to determine if this is something that you would like to bid on. You have to read it through carefully because it's going to give you all of the criteria, how you're going to post your bid, if you're going to email it in, if you're going to drop it off, if you're going to FedEx it. I've seen all kinds of things. And what you want to also pay particular and close attention to, if there is a pre-bid conference that's listed on here, you must attend any mandatory pre-bid conference calls, or you're not going to be able to complete the bid and bid on this event. If you are looking at this event and you say, I don't know if I really want to take on the whole project, but I would like to be a subprime for a prime, then that's the next screen. We're going to show you how to post a vendor ad. So on this next screen, this is how you post a vendor ad to let the event contract know that you're going to put your name, your email, your phone number, and you're going to put your title, the response date. And you see at the bottom, it says prime seeking sub, or it says sub seeking prime. That is where you can post your event vendor ad, and in the description field you would put your certification ID number and what your products and services of what you're able to do in there. So again, this is another great way that you can post a vendor ad and that you can take on and be a subcontractor if you did not feel like you wanted to take on the whole project. Okay? We'll pause if there are any questions in the chat or if you see any.
Yeah, no questions in the Q&A quite yet. Please do remember, if you have questions for the presentation today, please enter them into the Q&A section. I did see a comment in the chat I would love to discuss really quick as we give folks a moment to enter any questions they may have. Someone was trying to log into Cal eProcure and was a bit confused at the option of new bidder versus existing supplier. They seem to think like it should be new supplier and then existing supplier. Is there any relevance to that? Is that just kind of a turn of phrase, or is there a difference?
What are they logging in to do? Make changes, or they're starting completely new?
Yeah, so that is a good definer. And I think the confusion was the difference between a bidder versus a supplier, rather
Okay,
than them both being considered suppliers.
right. No. So the bidder, you remember there's a bidder profile that's not public. That's for you, and it's aspirational. If it's something that you want to maybe look at later, that's going to be your bidder profile. And then your certification profile is, because the bidder profile is not public, but the certification profile is. But tell me again, what were the words that they used?
The full comment is when you log on to the website and hit log in, it has new bidder or existing supplier. Not sure which one, but they would think the new supplier, but that's not available. It seems like there's just a bit of confusion of why it's a new bidder instead of new supplier login.
I don't know the answer to that. No one has asked me that, but I can take a look at it and I can log in myself. So then I'll know the concept. So if you want to post my email, or I can post my email in the chat, and then that person and I can, after the call, I want to log in myself to take a look at it. So are they, can you ask, is the person that asked the question, are you already certified or you're just starting to get certified?
Yeah, and Chelsea, feel free to drop that in chat. I wanted to kind of discuss that, but I do think it's just a different word for the same thing. It's whether or not you have a Cal eProcure profile would mean if you
Yes,
don't, you would be new to the system.
that's
Or
right.
if you have an existing profile, you would be an existing supplier. So it's that kind of definition.
And that is correct, because I see in the profile she's not certified. So you
Yeah,
would want to then log in and say that you want to be a new supplier, that you want to
okay.
set up your new profile. But we can, I can log in again to take note of that, because I just don't want to give you the wrong answer. But I think it is just a different wording of how things is, because she did say she's not certified.
Yeah.
I got
And
registered.
so if you
Thank you so much for this. Okay. Okay.
Great. And yeah, so to clarify, if you are brand new to Cal eProcure, you have not been on the site, you have not created an account, you're going to
Right.
hit that new bidder button, and that's going to
Yes,
take you through the registration process. But if you do have an account, you would log in using the existing supplier.
that's correct. I do believe that's
Perfect.
correct, because that seems like that once you run through that, that would make sense. Yeah. But we'll clarify that for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay.
And with that, I think I answered the question that we also got in chat as well.
Oh, okay.
Um, Actually, one more came in. I think this is a good point of clarification as to like when they need to make an account. So Deontay was wondering, is there a place to see UNSPSP codes before they register in Cali eProcure?
You're going to start the certification. You can go to the the DGS page and you can look up UNSPSC codes and not be registered, but it will ask you to do that in conjunction with registering. So get registered, then certified, then you can move to the next step for your UNSPSCs. So they have it's almost like a flow of how they're having you set up your profile. And then you get to your keywords and then you get to your UNSPSCs. So it's not like it's in a time consuming thing to find that. Once you have your keywords, then you should be able to match a keyword and find your UNSPSCs. And you'll get a packet of information as well. So you can put that in there to do the search, like we did the search for paper. And then everything that's correlated with that will pop in at the bottom.
Absolutely. And that is something I have to give kudos to the state for their registration system, Cal eProcure. Well, all softwares have their hiccups. Cal eProcure is one of the best that I have seen, and I've been in this industry for 4 years now. So it really does. Once you create your account, it takes you through a flow to get you really settled and get everything in order for you. But if you are looking for additional guidance, someone to be in your corner just to answer questions, the small business outreach liaisons are great for that, as well as the Apex Accelerator counselors. That is our bread and butter, and we would be happy to help.
Yes, absolutely.
And then one final one, which is really, really good to clarify, is there a cost for getting certified or creating your Cal eProcure account?
Oh my goodness, no, please. There's no cost. This is no cost. It's your tax dollars at work. So, no, you should not have to pay. You do not pay anyone to set up your Cal eProcure profile. Amanda at Apex is available to help you with that. DGS is available to help you with that. So, no, this is and we say no cost, but it's your taxpayer dollars at work. So
Yes,
you don't have to pay out any additional money. There's not a fee for that. So rest assured.
perfect. And then Chelsea, I do see your question, but I want to ask that once we get a little bit more information about those certifications. So I will hold on to that and we'll keep pushing forward in the presentation.
Okay. So we do have an option of called Skippers, the state contract and procurement registration system, where you can do some research on past purchases. So once you've decided on your UNSPSC, you can go back and see what past purchases were fulfilled with the UNSPSC that you are wanting to create now for the business that you have. Okay. So Skippers is a database of state purchasing. It includes state and non-state dollars. It is public facing and you can use it to conduct market research. So it's public facing, so anyone can go into Skippers, and if they have a UNSPSC code, they can look at that to determine what other purchases were made in the past. And again, if you're going to use Skippers, you have to make sure that you are setting a date criteria for that, because if you don't put in a start and end date, it will be looking at information going back from 2015, and you'll be sitting there wondering what is going on. So that's one of the key things to remember when you are using Skippers, is that you are going to have to set a date parameter on that so that you are just not sitting, unless you want all of that data, right? It goes back to 2015. So we're going to use Skippers and we'll show you how to get there. Okay. So once again, everything starts at caliprocure.gov. You're going to go to find public procurement information. And then once you do that, okay, it's going to show you that that's where you're going to search for Skippers is there. All right. And then once you do that, this is what is called the Fiscal Skipper search is what this is. And so you've searched, the description is construction, which is up in the top right-hand corner in the description. You can use description. You can also search by UNSPSCs. So if we want to go to, let's see what the next screen has. Okay, let's go back a screen then. Thank you. So remember, you're going to put in a date, a start date, and an end date, from date and to date. And once you do that, so this is searching for construction, then this is what the past research will look like. So the departments for past research for construction are Department of Corrections and Rehab, Department of Motor Vehicles, Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. And once you would be able to, I'm sorry, this is cut off. You can scroll down to the bottom and you can move over and you'll be able to see the start and end date and the total grand dollar amount of what the purchase was for. So, and then once you click on each one of those, it will open up and give you much, much more information so that you can use that for your research. But we can go into greater detail of that during a one-on-one with one of my coworkers and myself, and then with if you have a chance to meet with Apex as well. So I see there's another section for questions if we don't have any, because I want to be respectful of time. The packet is so big with information. Do you have any questions in there, Amanda?
Yeah, let's go ahead and answer Chelsea. She was wondering when registering in Cal eProcure, it gives you the diversity options, but do you all already have to be registered for the certifications before you fill that out, or is the
Oh,
diversity self-identification?
no, the supplier diversity is just for the additional information so we can make sure that we're covering the areas of where we need to be to help out some small businesses. So if you can skip over that, if you don't want to do that, it brings it up in the beginning, but you can come back to that later. That's not a requirement for certification.
Entirely voluntary.
Entirely voluntary. Yes, it is.
Perfect. Then let's go ahead and move forward.
So we're talking about advocates. So over the 100 departments that we have at the state, if any of the departments is going to spend more than $100,000 a year, they are required to have an advocate. The advocate is a state employee. They work in purchasing and procurement. They are either going to be a manager or an analyst, and they're going to be the ones that are going to help you promote your business with your capability statement. That is where the capability statement will come in, where you would list your UNSPSCs on your capability. And if you have federal certification, you can list the NAICS codes as well. So you could use one capability statement for the state and for federal. Okay. So the advocate's role and responsibility help certified businesses contract with their specific department. Assist businesses with prompt payment. If you have a question about not getting paid, if it is a undisputed invoice, it should be paid in 45 days. Help buyers use certified businesses and to seek out new certified businesses. So the advocates are under the mandate of Proposition AB 19, which says that all new business in the state of California, 25% must go to small business, 3% must go to disabled veteran enterprise businesses. And that is what the advocates are tasked to do, is to make sure that we're not using the same small business over and over and over again, that we are reaching out and that we're using new small businesses. So this is where you reaching out to the advocate and sending them your capability statement to say, hi, I'm a business. This is what I provide. Do you have any opportunities for them? And this is what their responsibilities are. Okay. And when you're contacting the advocate, remember they're really, really busy. You want to make it doesn't have to be a long dissertation, right? You can contact them in the subject line of an email. You can put your certification ID number, what you do. Your capability statement is going to show what you do, and make sure you have your contact information on your capability statement as well. And then you can email the advocate to introduce yourself and to ask them what opportunities are available. But there are places to find that as well on the DGS website, upcoming opportunities. And when I send the packet out, or if Amanda sends it out, then we can show you where that is as well when we do our one-on-ones. Okay? So this is just going to give you an example of a capability statement. So you'll see in the middle, it has your UNSPSCs, and it also has your NAICS codes as well. And again, this is just an example. Apex accelerators could give you more information about that. We really don't review the capability statements because that would be a conflict of interest. So DGS would not be able to help you answer any questions about the contract for the conflict of interest situation that we have, but Apex can certainly assist you with that. But it does not have to be an elaborate capability statement because we just want to see, are you certified? What are the UNSPSCs? Tell us a little bit about your business so we can start marketing and helping you market your business as well with the different departments that the advocates work in. Okay. So these are a couple of things that you can ask the advocate. Do you have any current or upcoming contract opportunities, right? Because that's why you're a small business. You're working hard for your community, for your family. You want to know what are the upcoming contracts or opportunities that you may have. Can you include me in relevant solicitations? List of commonly purchased goods or services. This would be something to ask the advocate once you are sending over your capability statement. Again, in the subject line, you can certainly put your certification ID number so that they have that to know that you are certified. Okay. So again, we're going to show you where you can find the directory for the advocates. So you're back here at your workstation. Okay, and then you're going to go find training and resources. Okay, well, and then under research and marketing, contact a small business and DVBE advocate. And once you get here, we'll click one more time. You're going to click on view the advocate directory. And then we'll click one more time. And this is the advocate directory. The new way that it happens when you click the middle, find the advocate on the left-hand side, you'll have to click on the directory. And so it's going to list the departments. And if you could scroll all the way down, you can't right now, this is just showing you what this is. You can go down there in alphabetical order. So if you wanted to say, do business with the Department of Education, you would go to the Department of Education, you would scroll over, there's a bar at the bottom, the gray bar. You would find the advocate for the Department of Education. And then you would email the advocate your capability statement. So this is a great resource to go in to find the advocate of the department that you would want to work with, or you felt like it would be a good department that you could help and assist with the goods and services of that department. This is where you would find the advocate directory, and you would find the email of that advocate, and you would go ahead and email your capability statement. Okay. And any questions? Any questions?
Yeah, we have a couple of questions. Someone was wondering if the skippers data, so the past purchases, show what UNSPSC code was used for that purchase. And would that be a good way to define the ones that you put in your profile?
Absolutely. That is how you could find past purchases using the UNSPSC codes. So once you determine if this is a good UNSPSC for your business, and you're like, oh, I want to use that UNSPSC code and I want to find past purchases to see what old price points people had used for dollar amounts or what other UNSPSCs they have, you can use skippers for that. Yes, you can.
Fantastic. And then someone else was wondering when setting up your profile, if you have a company address already, do you also need to put in your personal address or is the company address sufficient?
The company address is sufficient. On the amend application section, it can give your personal address and it also can give your business address as well. So if you want to keep them the same or if they're different, because it asks you for a personal phone number and it also asks you for a business phone number as well. And that's why on the invitation for solicitation, on that example, it had two email addresses because some people use a personal email and then some people just have a business email. So the answer to that is yes.
Awesome. And then someone is also wondering if they happen to have more than one business or maybe cover multiple service areas, could they contact two advocates or maybe even three? Is there a limit to how many advocates they could be in contact with?
Oh no, there's no limit. So you would determine the advocates by the department that you want to work with. So if you want to work with CDCR, you would reach out to that advocate. If you want to work with Caltrans, if you want to work with the African American Museum, if you want to work with Tax Franchise Board, yes. So if you have different businesses that are certified, then you would look for the departments that you think would have solicitations for that business and email away. Absolutely. And then, but it becomes a little bit of work for you, correct? Because you want to know some follow up. So if you haven't heard from them in 72 hours, then you got to have some kind of system set up to say, hey, I emailed you. I haven't heard back from you because that person might be on vacation. They may have switched jobs. So there could be a lot of different variable factors why they haven't gotten back to you. So if you are a person that tracks your emails that way, then it creates a little bit of additional work for you to follow back up with them. But if you've not heard from an advocate and it has been 72 hours, then there is an advocate overall email, advocate@dgs.ca.gov, that you would email and say, hey, I've reached out to the advocate in this department and I haven't heard back. And they will for sure follow up. So again, it creates a little bit of additional follow-up work for you when you're using the advocates, because you want to get an answer back and you want to know what's going on. So yes, if you have multiple businesses, you can email for sure. That's the name of the game for this, is to email the advocates that you would like to do business with. And if you think that you'd like to do business with every department, then you're going to email every advocate of that department, right? So that is something that you could take a look at and do. Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. And before we move on, I do want to note we are just about at 11 o'clock, which
Mhm.
is the scheduled end of our presentation, but I do want to respect everybody's time. So if you do have to leave us at 11, please do not worry. Rest assured, you will receive not only the recording of this additional segment and everything we have already covered today, but the slide deck with all links active and clickable. So even if you do have to leave us, we do appreciate you joining us, and you will be receiving all of these resources and the recording to review anything that you may have missed. We do appreciate your flexibility. And with that, let's go ahead and push on.
Yes. So we have reciprocity partners, which are going to be partners that include city, counties, utilities, transportation agencies, districts, school districts. And the reason that the reciprocity partners are going to be really good is because the reciprocity partners accept the state contracting certification. And so you don't have to reapply for each one of the reciprocity partners emails or websites that you would find. You would just let them know that you are certified with the state and they do accept our certification, and you will be able to find a list of those reciprocity partners that you could use as well. So it might be a little bit less daunting if you start with your county utilities, as opposed to coming straight to Cali Procure first to get started. Either way that you do it, there is an option for you. Okay. And we do also have the SB DVBE Emergency Registry. This is separate from Cal eProcure. So once your business is already certified and registered, if you have something that you might want to be able to say that, hey, if there's an emergency, if the governor enacts an emergency, or if there is a pipe that burst at the state mental hospital and you have the goods or services to go and assist, you can register separately on the emergency registry system, and you'll be able to be you have to be available and ready at the drop of a hat, if you will, to be able to answer the call when there is an emergency. And there are some predetermined categories that you can use. And if we go ahead, we'll show you what those look like. and what that is. And so these are some of the predetermined categories, medical, traffic control. So if you have 100 porta potties in a warehouse, and what happened, when fires happen and we need some porta potties, or we need some debris removal, we need some heavy trucks to come in at 4 o'clock in the morning, you would get a call at 4 o'clock in the morning and says, oh, we found you on the emergency registry list. Those items that you say you have, we need those. And so you would have to get those there as quick as possible. So the emergency registry doesn't have because it's an emergency, we are not going to be going through the bidding process. This is what we are trying to say. There's no time for a bidding process. We will pay you on the back end once everything is done. So we don't do a competitive bid process. You have the products and services that you say that you do. And if we need those, we wake you up, call you 4 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and you will just be ready to comply with those categories of which you say that you have the goods and services for. So that is the emergency registry categories. Okay. And so you'll need your certification number, the emergency categories, a brief description of your product. So your business address, your both primary and emergency after hours number. So if you have porta potties, we want to know the size of the porta potties. Is it the whole system? Does it have a porta potty that is it one unit and has the bathrooms inside, or is it separate? So you'll give detailed descriptions of the products or services that you would have available for the emergency registry. So again, it's an emergency. We're going down the list. We need what you say you have. That's why that list has to be very comprehensive. And then we give you a call, and we're expecting that you're going to provide those goods or services. Okay, and then it's going to show you where you're going to be able to go to the emergency category. Yes, you'll go to sell to the state. And then you're going to go down and you'll find the SB, DVBE, emergency contracting. You're going to click there. And that is where you're going to sign up. So the next thing we want to go over is commercially useful function. This is the body that takes care of everything that you are doing, what you say that you are going to do with the contract, that you've read the contract through, that you can complete everything on that contract, executing a distinct element of work, performing, managing, and supervising the work, performing the work that's normal for a firm's business and functions, negotiating price, determining quality, ordering, installing, and making payment, not subcontracting a portion of work greater than expected by industry. So what we're saying is, do what you say you're going to do, provide the goods and services that you're going to provide, just to make sure everything is above board and no one's going to get in trouble. So this is from the beginning of the contract, the middle, and the end of the contract. This is almost like the watchful eye that's looking over to make sure everything is done accordingly, because there are severe consequences of going against commercially useful function, and we don't want that to happen. Okay. So again, we've talked about this is not being used to perform work. You have to perform the work that is stipulated in the bid. If you no longer provide the goods and services listed on the bid, then just don't bid on the contract. Make sure everything is just above board and you're not being used as a pass-through to give the appearance of a small business or a DVBE participation. And we do have resources that we're talking about. We're going to wrap up right now. Small business development centers. We have APEX accelerators, and we do have SCORE. So again, these are just resources that are available for you. Always check with Amanda first if you have any questions, because they are very versed and capable of knowing exactly how state contracting works and how federal contracting works as well. So we've gone over the Cali Procure. I'm not going to read the list again because we're running short of time. Okay, we can go ahead to the next screen. And you'll get this in a packet. If you'd like to follow us on LinkedIn, I post to the LinkedIn page every Wednesday of upcoming opportunities of where we're going to be with presentations, free in-person events that we're going to have. So it would be great if you followed us on LinkedIn. Okay. And if you are looking for additional opportunities, if you can scan this QR code, or you can go to DGS space events, and that's going to give you all the upcoming events, but it's posted on LinkedIn as well. You know, there's always a couple of places where you can find things. Okay. We can go to our next screen. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one consultation, we can get you the link for that as well. And again, we can go over your profile, look at your keywords, look at your UNSPSCs. It's 30 minutes, and I would suggest that everyone sign up for a consultation so we can take a look at your profile.
Absolutely. And I will note you will be receiving the entire slide deck, including this QR code. So you will absolutely be able to sign up for these consultations.
Yes, you will. Okay. And I want to give one more great big shout out to Amanda and Norcal APEX Accelerators for having me today, and everyone that hung in there. I see there are just a couple of people that dropped off. But if you go to one more slide, next, the last slide, this is my email address. If you have any questions, you certainly can email me and I can get back to you. And thank you so much for hanging in there with us and getting through this presentation. And I'm sorry that it does go a little bit long, but Amanda has some things on the screen as well.
Yeah, not to worry at all. And thank you so much, Elisa, for joining us. It is a very hefty presentation, and we got a lot of good questions. So I think that that is a great reason to go long when we're answering the audience's question and getting them the resources and knowledge that they're really looking for. So thank you so much for joining us. And before we go into, I do have one final question I want to ask of you. But I do want to let everybody know that we are presenting some in-person events that you may be interested in. Specifically, we're going to be in Fort Bragg on April 3rd, and we do have hotel discounts available if you're looking to travel in. And it's going to be a kind of next good step for you if you're looking to get into state contracting. It is titled How to Do Business for the State of California, but we are expanding it since it is an in-person workshop because we will include that presentation as well as a prevailing wages 101 presentation and the
Okay.
opportunity to network with state and local government agencies and purchasers. We have the County of Mendocino, the City of Fort Bragg, California State Parks, CAL FIRE, and we're still waiting on confirmation, but we are expecting Caltrans to also join us. So that is going to be a fantastic networking event, and I would say a fantastic next step on your state contracting journey. We do have quite a few others, but I do want to be respectful of your time. I just wanted to highlight that one because you're looking to get into state contracting, and this is a great networking opportunity to really build that foundation and build that network that you need to succeed. And so with that, I want to finish us up with this one clarification question. When registering in Cal eProcure, is it okay to use a residential address as the business address if your business is being run out of your home?
Yes. Yes, as long as it's housed in California, yes, you can use that address. Absolutely.
Fantastic. And with that, thank you all so much for joining us. I love seeing the chat. Thank you all. I'm so glad you enjoyed the presentation. And once again, thank you, Elisa, for joining us. It's always a pleasure presenting with you.
Thank you for having me. It is always fun to present with you, Amanda. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and then as everybody exits the webinar, I will note you will be redirected to our feedback survey. We really do develop and put on these trainings every year to support you and your business goals. And this feedback survey is our way of letting you kind of tell us if we're doing a good job. So if you think this was a great presentation and you would love to see more of these types of presentations, this feedback survey is where you can let us know. On the flip side, if you want to see us do something different, maybe in a different format or on a different topic, the feedback survey is also a great place to leave that feedback for us. And I do personally go in and read all the feedback and make sure that we are adjusting and adapting to you and your business's needs. So if you have a moment, it is very brief and it can be answered anonymously if you would prefer that. But we always appreciate your feedback. It is truly invaluable to our event calendar and what we do to support you. And with that, I would like to thank everyone one more time for joining us this morning. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Okay.
have a good one.
Bye bye.
Bye, everybody.